Hi everyone out there in YouTube land. Tony Spera again. I'm going to take off these sunglasses. I don't want to act like I'm too cool. Hey, I got to thank everybody for those wonderful comments I've been getting. I appreciate it. And I've gotten some negative, of course. But you're right. Don't let the negative get to me, and I won't. But I want to talk about earthbound entities, about demonic entities, about your role in life to defeat the devil, to stay away from the devil, not be tempted by the devil. You know, it's easy to go on your life and not think of these things, not think of the devil, or not think of God much even. But that's a mistake because they go hand in hand. God, of course, is your creator. Now, I got a comment from, I call that a negative comment, from one viewer who said, stop preaching Jesus and God. Well, that's the whole basis for the New England Society for Psychic Research, and Ed Warren's basis for doing this and Lorraine's basis for doing it was through religious means, which was through faith in the Lord. So to say stop preaching about Jesus and God is like telling a doctor to stop using surgical instruments when he's doing a surgery. That's the basis of what he's doing and his knowledge base. Our knowledge base comes from God, comes from the supernatural realm. You know, we're just human beings, and we need to realize that God created us. He gave us free will to either go right or go wrong. And when people are tormented in houses by a demonic entity or by even an earthbound spirit, they need help. They don't know what to do because they're not used to dealing with it. Most people aren't. I wouldn't be if I didn't work for Ed and Lorraine for all those years, or with them. You know, it's easy to fluff it off as being something hokey, something fake. It's not fake. Not fake at all. It's as real as you and me. It's as real as a heart attack. And I'm going to tell you that to keep the devil away from you, you need to have faith. Faith in the Lord. But let's do this. Let's get into what an earthbound entity really is. An earthbound spirit, people say there are no earthbound entities, that they're all devils. It's not true. It's not true. Because God gave us free will. Remember that. That's an important aspect of this whole thing. He gave us our will to decide our lives and our afterlife too. In other words, when you pass on from this realm, you'll have the option of going towards the light. Going towards the light. And if you choose not to go towards the light, you're not going to be forced to go there. You can remain earthbound. And there's many, many reasons why people do, which I might have delineated before too to you, is that maybe they were tragically killed and they're trying to tell someone what happened to them, just like in the movie Ghost, where he tries to tell Molly what happened. That is close to reality, and that's strictly from Ed Warren's mouth. He told me that. He goes, that's exactly right. When people remain earthbound like that, it's because a lot of times they're confused. They don't know how to express what happened to them, but they want people to know. So they linger on the earthbound plane. Now remember, time and space are different in the earthbound, in the afterlife. So, you know, when you say, oh, geez, that spirit's been earthbound for 100 years, that's not possible. Lingering for 100? Yes, because 100 years is like a snap of the finger in eternity. That's one reason a spirit will remain earthbound. Another is that they're not very religious, they're not very spiritual, they never believed in God in their past life. So now when they pass on and they're shown a light, they don't want to go towards any light, they don't want to know about anything like that. They want to stay near their familiar surroundings, which is logical. If you don't have a strong belief system in God, in the afterlife, why would you want to go anywhere? You'd want to hang around your possessions, the ones you worked so hard for. So yeah, your grandma, your grandpa, your relatives can linger on an earthbound plane for a while. In fact, a lot of times people, when they first pass on, they linger near their body for a while because they're confused. They want to stay in the comfort zone. And like, I don't know about you, but my comfort zone would be my body. I want to stay near my body, you know. So that's what happens with a lot of earthbound entities. Or, an earthbound entity that might have been killed years ago in a house and wants to stay in that house, or just passes away peacefully in the house and wants to stay in that house, and then someone moves in and they're upset that now there's new members in that family, new owners in the house that they live so long in, and they don't like it. So they try to make a ruckus if they can. But remember that an earthbound entity, a true earthbound entity, cannot harm you. Demonic, yes. Earthbound, no. So how would you tell the difference in something's evil or something's earthbound, a human entity? Well, if someone lives in a house for 20 years and they say, well, I have a ghost in my house and I've had it for 20 years, but it doesn't bother me, it's probably not anything demonic. Because a demonic entity is not going to just sit and wait to do some harm to you or to cause havoc to your life. It's going to immediately try to encroach, immediately try to oppress your thoughts and do things that you wouldn't normally do. Maybe you'd have nightmares, bad dreams, thoughts that aren't your own. But if you live in a house for 20, 25, 30 years or a long time and nothing bad happens, but you see a shadow out of your corner of your eye or something moved the night before when you wake up, or a lot of people say to me, I got a friendly ghost in the house, I don't want him to leave. Well, if it's not bothering you and hasn't bothered you for years, then maybe you leave it alone. But demonic entities, though, you know the difference because it's the manifestations that occur. You would get terrible odors in the house, terrible stenches perhaps, like a sulfur smell or a rotting flesh smell, like a dead animal, or even a dead human smell, something really gross. You would have something maybe touch you, maybe push you, maybe scratch you. Your thoughts might be different than normal. All of a sudden you're having thoughts about harming someone that you never had before. You have nightmares that are just totally ridiculously crazy and scary and dismembering people and, killing people and doing bad things. Having the feeling of the presence of evil around you, that's another thing. I can't describe the feeling of evil around you. It's like if I said to you, okay, describe the feeling of love, describe the feeling of jealousy. It's hard. You just have it. The feeling of evil, you'll know it when you sense it around you. It's something heavy. It's something dark. It's something that you can't describe. How does that happen, though? How do people get haunted by a demonic entity? Well, a lot of times it's your weakness. The demonic attacks on your weakest level. And what I mean by that is, if you have a propensity towards alcohol, it's going to tempt you to drink. You'll have a temptation that's really hard to suppress, to drink more alcohol. A drug user, you have a propensity towards drugs. It's going to want you to do it more. Why? It wants to destroy your life. That's why. It doesn't want you to have a normal, happy, spiritual-filled life. It wants you to have a convoluted, messy, chaotic, depressive life. That's what it wants, the demonic. Demonic entities are real. The devil is a real entity, and so are its minions of devils. They're legion, which means a lot. And you have to fight against that. With every breath you take, you have to know that there's evil around every corner. People get murdered. There's mass murders. There's cruelty to people beyond what you can imagine. I believe it's demonically influenced by the devil. Like the mass murders in Sandy Hook. Now, I can't go out and say that that was something that the devil made him do, but it could have been. I personally believe it was, but I can't go out on record and say, yeah, that's what it was, because I can't prove it. But when people have those kind of thoughts that encroach on your mind so heavily that you go out and do something like that and plan it, it can only be something that's demonically influenced, in my opinion. You have to flood yourself with happiness, with happy thoughts. You have to smile every day if you can. Smile. I don't smile a lot. I don't know why. It's just to make up for my face, but when I do smile, I think I look like a rabbit. So maybe I don't smile too much. But you know, in all seriousness, you need to live a clean, healthy life. And yes, I'm going to preach God and Jesus because I'm not a Bible thumper. Remember that. I'm not a Bible thumper at all. I don't read the Bible every day. I read passages once in a while from them. But I learned everything, most like what I learned was from Ed and Lorraine about the Lord, about faith, about having faith when you go into a house. I don't go to church every Sunday, and it's I hate to admit it. I do go, but I miss sometimes. But when I'm there, I feel at peace. I feel good. I feel I am in God's house, where two or more are gathered in his name, you know? You're in the presence of God. So, really, you want to live the life that God wants you to live, which is a clean, healthy, faithful, loving life. The more you smile, the more you get a smile in return, right? The more anger you show, the more anger comes back at you. When they say fight fire with fire, that's not necessarily true all the time. You know, sometimes turning the cheek is the way to be, you know. It's hard sometimes because ego gets in the way. You know, I have an ego. I'm not going to deny that I don't. I was brought up in an Italian household. My mom and dad, both Italians. And they're very strict, very stern in their beliefs. Now, I used to sit at the kitchen table when I was 13, 14, and I'd say, pass me the salt, please. I'd say, please pass me the salt. And my father would pass me the salt, and I put it on my macaroni or whatever it was. And then I would just put it near me. And one time I did that. I shook this shaker, and I put it right here. And he looked at me, he says, where'd you find that salt, pal? I said, what do you mean? He says, that salt is not near you. That salt, you found the salt over there. Put it back where it belongs. And I was afraid of my dad because he was a tough, rough guy. That's how I was brought up, strict. After school, I'd have to cut the lawn, trim the hedges, trim the trees, weed. And I remember one day he said, after school, you know, cut the lawn today. But after school that one day, I was in high school. I said to myself, I'm going to go out and play pool with my friends, play billiards. And I did. When I got home, my father came home and goes, what did I tell you about the lawn? You're not having any supper till you go out and do that lawn. And I never argued with him. I went and did it because I was afraid of him. So I was brought up in a strict kind of a family. My mom, though, was a lot more soft, a lot more genteel. I can go to her with problems. I couldn't go to my father with anything. My father never said, let's go out and play catch. My father never took me to a ball game. He never took me anywhere alone. And so that's just how my father was. Construction, he worked construction all his life. He was in the Army for 4.5 years in World War II. When he came back, he had post-traumatic stress disorder, which I didn't know. Nobody knew back then. Thought it was just his attitude. But he used to have a trigger temper, and I mean trigger. So I was brought up a little differently than a lot of people, and I was so afraid of him that I would never answer him back. I never swore in front of him, never answered him back. When he said to do something, I did it. So I know what that's all about structure, but he did go to church every Sunday, and he did take us to church every Sunday. As a matter of fact, he was a Grand Knight in the Knights of Columbus for a while. And I never joined the Knights of Columbus or anything like that. I didn't like organized groups like that. But I do have spirituality. I do believe in the Lord. I believe in God as my creator, and I believe he's listening to everything we do and say and watching. And if you want to go to that place, that's a beautiful paradise. I think that we have to earn it. We have to live our lives so we are worthy of walking through those pearly gates, as they're called. You know, it's not a free pass. Life isn't a free pass. So stay away from anything evil. Stay away from anything demonic. Don't do rituals. Don't read satanic books. Don't read books on conjuring. Don't read books on incantations. It's not going to get you anywhere. The best book to read really is the Bible. Or any books written by Father Amorth, Gabriel Amorth, who was an exorcist. Or by Malachi Martin. or by Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren, because those are faithful people. Those are people who have your best interests in mind. So they're trying to give you a warning that the devil is real. The devil exists. How do you become a paranormal investigator? A lot of people ask me that. Well, it's through a lot of trial and error, through a lot of on-the-job training. Yes, reading too, but don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything that's on a written page, because it's not always 100% accurate. In fact, I'll go as far as to say this: don't believe everything I tell you. Don't just automatically believe what I tell you. Go out and check it out yourself. Go out and research. Though I know I'm giving you my truth, my 100% truth, and I believe it to be 100% accurate, you should check it out. Don't just willy-nilly believe people when they tell you something. You have your own mind. And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are smarter than me, more intelligent, have been through more. Even though I've been through a lot, there's probably people out there who have been through a lot more. So I'm always learning too. I'm not the know-it-all. I'm not. Ed wasn't the know-it-all either. Even though he knew more than 99.9% of people that he encountered, he told me, you're always here to learn. It's a mysterious world out there. It's a mysterious universe. People who don't believe in God, I feel sorry for them, or an almighty creator, an intelligent design. If they don't believe in intelligent design, then they're really going out on a stretch, on a limb, to think that happenstance made all this happen so orderly. That happenstance made this universe the way it is. That the human DNA and the chromosome has such order to it that tells us, what color my eyes are going to be, and what color my hair and my skin color. Am I going to be tall or short? It's all pre-programmed in the instruction book of life, the DNA that's in all of us. That's all in plants and animals too. Had to be an intelligent design. It had to be. How can something come from nothing? I'll tell you what. I'll put some air in a loose light container, seal it, leave it there. You could leave it there for 100,000 years. Nothing's going to grow in it. There's not going to be a human being coming out of there, or even an ant. So how did that happen? I say to people a lot when they start to say they don't believe in the Lord, they don't believe in God. No, I don't believe in a creator. I don't believe in that we were created by an intelligent being. There's no God. I'll say to them, and I think I've said this before, maybe on YouTube even, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you get like 20 of the greatest minds in the world, the smartest people that you could find, scientists, microbiologists, neuroscientists, the smartest people you could find, and the highest IQ, and have them go into a room, a concrete room, no windows, no anything, no tables, no anything, 20 of them. Have them go into that room and tell them that you're going to leave them in that room. But all they need to do to get out of that room is to do one small thing. One thing only. Because they're all so smart. And there is no intelligent design. Don't come out of the room until you have a maple leaf in your hand. And they would look at you and say, what are you talking about? My answer would be, well, you guys say there's no intelligent design, that something can be created from nothing. Make a maple leaf for me and come back out. In fact, what I'll do is I'll give you all the chemicals you want. The only thing I won't give you is a maple seed or a maple seedling. But you can go make your own. Let's see them do it. You think they will? I don't think so. I'd bet $1 billion that they come out of that room empty-handed, or they never come out of the room, because I'm not going to let them out until they come out with a maple leaf, right? So that's kind of a weird explanation for what I think, but if they can come out of that room with a maple leaf, then maybe I'd agree there is no intelligent design. There is no creator, but there is. I want you all to go to heaven. I want you all to go to the right place. I want to go there too. I really want to go there. I don't want to go to a place that's a black hole, that I can see my relatives, but I can't get to them. Maybe I could see happiness on the other side. I can see them beaming with glory, but I'm in a dark place and I can't get there. That's kind of what I envision hell to be. So I don't want to be there, and I don't want you to be there either. So for now, I think I'm going to sign off. I know I've been talking a lot. I hope you enjoy it. I'll keep trying to post other stuff, and I'll try to go into some of Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases in more detail too. But for now, I really appreciate all the nice comments. It makes me feel really, really worthy of, well, I'm really not worthy, but worthy of your compliments. I feel happy when I see that. And knowing that I'm touching some people's lives, especially people who are disturbed or depressed because they lost someone. I know what that feels like. It feels like there's no way out, like there's never going to be any happiness in your life. But time does heal. I know it's a cliche, but time does heal things. It took me a long time to heal from my mom and my brother and my dad. The worst was my mom and my brother, though, because they were so young. And it hurt deeply. It hurt me to the core. But I'm still here today, right? I'm still kicking. Don't ask me how I'm still kicking. I'm 69. The oldest member of my family who ever lived was my dad. He lived to be 66, and he had an aortic aneurysm and died in his chair. I added it all up just for jollies when I was younger. My mom died at 45, my brother at 27, my father at 66. Average that out, the age is 46. He was 66, my dad. Average that out, it's 46 years. So when I hit 46 years old, I said, well, okay, I beat my mom, but didn't want to beat my mom and my brother. When I hit 66, the day after my 66th birthday, I said, well, I beat my dad because he died the day before his 67th birthday. So when I hit 67, I knew I was scot-free for a while. I made it to 69, and Ed used to say to me, I know you're afraid of dying, kid. He used to say that to me. And I guess I was for a long, long time. Because I was just waiting for the big one to come, the big heart attack or whatever. But now I come to realize that you have to accept it, because death is part of life. It really is. Death is just the beginning of our journey, I think, our eternal journey. And I think, we're all going to be so happy and so healthy and so vibrant and learn so much in the other side, in the afterlife, that it's going to be glorious. And I'm going to know all you people. I should be there waiting for most of you, because I should be going first. And I'll welcome you with open arms, and I'll show you around. How's that? I'll show you around. Okay, so till then, till next time, this is Tony Spera, signing off. Stay safe, everybody.